It's a warm one in our nation's capital today. Game 4 of this weekend series. Maybe Bryce Harper's about to put the team on his shoulders and carry things for a while, or it might be Ryan Zimmerman. Both guys hitting the long ball this weekend. The Nats are still 8 over despite losing a couple in a row. They'd like to win today and take a 5-2 season series away from this guys from St. Louis.
Yeah, have a good homestand, beat the Cardinals 5 out of 7. So Steven Strasburg on the mound against a struggling Michael Wacha. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Strasburg's been fantastic. 13 strikeouts away from 1,000, by the way, for his career. The only Nat to do that in his entire career. Gio, some of those with Oakland. But he's been great lately. Doesn't need the run support he's getting, but he's just been fantastic.
Well, 13 today against the Cardinals would be news.
Yeah.
These guys are tough to strike out. But the last time Steven Strasburg faced these guys, he was lights out. He went 7 innings, gave up just 2 runs on 8 hits. He struck out 9 Cardinals. So not impossible to say that he could do it. He threw 16 sliders out of his 103 pitches. Why do I say that? Because that's the pitch everybody's been talking about for Steven. Now a 4+ pitch guy when you add that 90-mile-an-hour slider to his repertoire.
So 1 month ago, Strasburg took care of St. Louis at Busch Stadium. And as we mentioned, he's getting lots of run support. Jake Arrieta gets the most. Steven Matz is up there. But you look at those 5 guys, they may not need nearly that much to be winning pitchers. So the Nats need to get back on a good track. Don't want to head out for a week-and-a-half road trip on the heels of a 2-5 homestand.
No, I think it's important for the hitters last night. They swung the bats well, just didn't go their way. The Cardinals were pretty good offensively, but come out and get Michael Wacha early. His last start, he gave up 6 runs in the first inning, 8 runs, a career high. And you remember a couple of years ago when we saw him, he almost threw a no-hitter against the Nats. So a different guy. We'll keep an eye on the Cardinals pitcher, but you're looking for Steven Strasburg to have another big day.
Wacha's only gone 4 his last 3 times out. Ryan Zimmerman, outstanding night. 4 for 4 last night. His 16th career multi-home run game. 8 long ones, 24 RBIs on the year. Nats Cards straight ahead. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. By Dominion. Depend on us for more than energy. And by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing. We'll take 3 of those in the booth right now. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Cards and the Nats. Washington leads the season series 4-2. Cardinals have won 2 of the first 3 here. Kind of cloudy overhead, so sunblock needed too. Humidity 53%. It'll be 81 at first pitch. We're waiting. Steven Strasburg a little tardy getting out of the bullpen and getting ready for this one today. It'll be his 6th career start against the guys from the STL. Dusty Baker's ball club in a virtual tie with the Mets. They're 28-20. Dusty's Nats 29-21. 2.5 up on the Phillies. The Nats will be in the city of brotherly love later tonight to start a new series tomorrow. St. Louis 5th in the league in hitting, 1st in runs, 2nd in home runs. Greg Garcia, he's the reason Ruben Tejada is no longer a Cardinal. They called him up the other day to replace Matt Carpenter, who was on the paternity list. And when Carpenter came back, they DFA'd Ruben Tejada because this guy's hot. And we saw what a good defender he is on the left side of the infield as well. Here's Strasburg, 8-0.
Let's see the arsenal for Steven Strasburg. Last start, he threw the fastball 55% of the time. It averaged 95 miles an hour. He's a 7-4 winner against the Mets on the 24th. Mets just season high with 11 strikeouts. Gave up just 2 runs in 6 2/3. You see the opponent's average 218 and lefties hitting just 177 against Steven Strasburg this year. That's impressive. Here's your defense for the day game after the night game. Last game of the set. Revere, Taylor, Harper, your outfield. Espinosa, Rendon left side. Murphy, Zimmerman right side. And Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Well, when certain guys pitch, the ball club feels like it's going to win no matter what. Strasburg, that guy right now, is Jeep, brings you some impressive numbers. Now, Jake Arrieta, 20 consecutive wins. Strasburg, 11 for the Nats. And by the way, the team has won his last 14 starts in a row. And then Steven Matz of the Mets, who was so impressive against the Nationals earlier this week on this diamond. And FP, you know that feeling. You go to the ballpark some days and you just know your guy is going to get you in that left-hand column.
Yeah, it's been the case for Steven Strasburg, off to his best start, 8-0. Last 2 starts, he's averaged 15 strikeouts per 9 and 14.8 strikeouts per 9. And he's had a strikeout rate of 42% and 40%. So that means he's striking out almost half the hitters he faces in his last 2 starts. It's been impressive, to say the least.
27-year veteran, the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg, has the plate. John Tumpain, Alan Porter, Mark Carlson, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So a little overcast, and that may be a good thing for the fans instead of baking in the sun here. It is 1:38. We're 3 minutes late, and that is inside for a ball. Matt Carpenter, 1 for 5 with an RBI upon his return to the St. Louis lineup last night. He's 4 for 13 career with an RBI against Strasburg. Target away. Right on the edge. Steven against St. Louis, 1-2, 5 career starts, 2.76. Hasn't faced them here since April of 2014. Carpenter hitting for more power the last season plus. 9 homers on the year. He's in the top 6 with RBIs, 33, same number as Bryce Harper.
Confident, relaxed. Signed the 7-year deal and has been even better since that whole thing took place. Just looks like a guy playing baseball now. You don't have to worry about setting your family up for life. Check that box. Now you're just competing. And since he came off the DL for the 2nd time last year, been a different guy.
2-2. And this one, fly ball to left. How do you like the defensive outfield the Nats are showing out there today with Revere, who made that catch, Taylor and Harper, 1 out. Bryce, 3 hits in the series, couple of RBIs. Michael A getting a shot to bat 2nd today. We'll set the Nats lineup for you in the bottom of the inning, right after we see if Greg Garcia can continue his climb toward a 700 batting average. 11 for 17 at the big league level this year. They just couldn't send him back down, which you speculated the other night would be the case. And you like the way he plays in the field and grinds out at bats too.
Got a good idea of the strike zone. That's the thing that's really jumped out at me.
Garcia from El Cajon, California. Played shortstop at Hawaii next to his teammate Colton Wong. This one out to short, one hopper. Danny Espinosa had to back up a bit, and he fires a strike to Ryan Zimmerman. Matt Holliday next. Game notes for you. So if he gets 2 strikes on you, you're going to be retired about 86% of the time. The Nats starters through May 5th, 8 home runs. May, the ball has been flying. Ryan Zimmerman joins Nick Johnson, Josh Willingham, and Adam LaRoche as the 4th Nat batter to go 4 for 4 with a couple of home runs. In Willingham's case, it was 2 grand slams in one game years ago in Milwaukee. Here's Matt Holliday hitting .235. He muscled up last night for his 8th of the year. In the series, 2 for Sena, homer, 2 for 7, pardon me, a homer, 2 RBIs, couple of walks. Ball 2.
92-mile-an-hour slider.
Slider 92, changeup 90. Doesn't sound fair to me.
Sounds impossible.
(2-0). Up in the zone. Holliday is a big man at 6'4". On deck, Matt Adams, who's had great success against Strasburg in his career. Limited sample, but impressive nonetheless. Holliday late, and the count's 2-2.
Tries to expand with that slider away here after throwing the fastball on the outer third. I think that pitch has kept right-handers off his fastball. He'll throw that fastball away for a strike and then expand even further out with the slider. That's a pitch he didn't have in the past, and I think I just saw 3.
2-2. Holliday. Nice stroke the other way. Bryce Harper had to get over. That thing had some hair on it, skipping along the outfield grass, and St. Louis has its first base hit. Matt Holliday now 7 for 13 career against Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, the right pitch, and I bet you if you asked Steven Strasburg, he didn't want to throw this for a strike. He wanted to expand down and away, and the ball just kind of sat on the outer third. That gave Holliday a chance to reach it. So nice piece of hitting by Matt Holliday for the first Cardinals hit.
Here's another Matt. Adams 4 for 9 against Strasburg. Modified shift on for the Nats with Murphy in right field. Espinosa up the middle. Ball 1. Adams hurt his back here. Had to leave after a couple of at-bats on Thursday night. 1 for 2 at that point. Back in the lineup now. 2 for 3 in the series. Had a big pinch hit last night. If that's fair, it's trouble. And it's foul, hooking into the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matt Adams.
Have to reload and get another bat. Bat Boy's got the whole bat rack for him. He's got his choice.
Adams on a 4-game hitting streak when he's been in there, 8 for his last 12. 2 ball clubs that score and give up a whole lot less than they do bring in. St. Louis is a plus 49 on their runs. The Nats are a plus 43. And Dusty Baker's pitching staff second in the league at 3.01 staff ERA. The Cubs, the only National League team now under 3 runs a game at 2.67. Tell you, this crowd's into it right from the first couple of pitches of the day. They know this is an important one for the home team. Adams high in the air to right, and Bryce Harper is waiting for it. 2-out hit by Holliday, and that's it. Now the Nats go to work against Michael Wacha, struggling at 2-5. will be gone for a week and a half after this, so we're glad they all came to check out some good baseball. Anthony Rendon had a day off last night. Since the 10th of May, 9 multi-hit games. Anthony's batting average over 260 now in this series, 4 for 6 with a walk. Interesting, Taylor right behind Revere up front, speed to burn ahead of Harper, Murphy, and Zimmerman. Michael Wacha, 2-1 career against Washington.
11th start of the season for Wacha, 69th of his career. Gave up a career high 8 runs his last start against the Cubs in a 12-3 loss. Allowed 6 runs in the first inning. Get this, and this is not the Michael Wacha we've seen in the past. He's allowed 20 runs over his last 3 starts in 12 innings.
Yeah, you look down and he's gone 4, 4, and 4 his last 3 starts, 8, 8, and 8 on the hits, and then the runs way up there as well. On the grass at third, Matt Carpenter with a speedy Ben Revere. Ben 2 for 12 in the series, but still 11 for 32 over his last 9 games, and that's a batting mark of .344. He hopes it goes foul, and it does.
The Cardinals deep for you behind Michael Wacha, Holiday, Grichuk, Moss the outfield, Garcia, Carpenter left side, Jerko, Adams right side, and Eric Fryer behind the plate.
They've made 2 errors this series and 44 on the year, the most in baseball. Yeah, Yadier Molina had played the first 3 games of this series. So Fryer handling Wacha. Ben's 2 for 4 career against the right-hander. That's a busted bat. Ball stays fair, and it looked for a moment like it might hit the first base bag. It went right over it. Matt Adams takes care of that.
Yeah, we talk about getting on Michael Wacha early if you're the Nats, because if you gave up 6 runs in your first start, or your last start, excuse me, in the first inning, you know, maybe your confidence isn't where it used to be. So you give up a couple of hits, maybe a run in the first inning, now you're thinking out there. But if you settle in with a 1-2-3 first, now the adjustments you made between last start, you're thinking are working. So I think this first inning is huge in today's game.
Michael A. Taylor facing Wacha for the first time. Left side, tough play. Foul ball. Odd signal given by Mark Carlson. Usually umpires will throw their hands straight up. He gave the safe sign.
Well, let's check it out. Tough to see right there. Looked like it was foul. And that's his version of foul.
Okay.
He's just got a 3/4 release on his foul call versus right over the top.
Got it. It needs to work on both arm slots, in my opinion. 1-1 to Taylor. Michael 0 for 1 in this series, a pinch hitting appearance last night. 2-1.
And talking to some of the Cardinals people, Wacha's main problem this year, he's flying open, his arms dragging, and you remember that downhill plane he used to have on the fastball with his big frame. He's been up.
Big frame indeed, 6'6", 215 they list him. Derek Lilliquist, his pitching coach, observing first inning. 2-2 to Taylor with 1 out. Cardinals play him straight away all over the diamond. And a 3-2 count with Bryce Harper starting to make noise again on deck. Swing and a miss. 92 up a bit. 2 down, first inning.
So Bryce with 2 mammoth shots in the series. You wonder if they're going to pitch to him. You see the strike 3 to Michael Taylor, just a challenge fastball, 92 right down the middle. So do we start seeing that whole walk him again deal?
Yeah.
He's struggling. They pitched to him. He hit 2 monster bombs last night straightaway center field on the AstroTurf. And then the upper deck shot.
Yeah, you always wonder At what point does he become too dangerous to pitch to again?
I'd say right now.
Walker threw a strike, and Harper bounced out. 1-2-3 for the St. Louis pitcher. That's big for him, and it's a big game for the Nationals on getaway day.
Park. Dusty Baker sets a goal for all of his ball clubs that he'd like them to achieve over the course of the season. It goes month by month. He would like his teams to win 15 games per month, and you average that out over 6 months, a regular season, that's 90 wins. Dusty says winning 15 a month doesn't guarantee you anything, obviously, but it puts you in a pretty good position. And beyond that, he feels it gives a team some motivation and drive to achieve something. He feels that since baseball is such a long season, it's important to kind of break it down a bit. So you set some shorter goals for yourself as a hitter, maybe a certain amount of hits per series, and as a team, a certain amount of wins per month. The Nats had 16 wins in April, 13 so far this month, with 3 games left to try and get to that 15-win mark.
Yeah, it's doable. That's Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Don't miss incredible Coons Memorial Day savings going on now. Randall Grichuk, 0 for 3 career against Strasburg, 2 for 11 this weekend with an RBI. Stephen Piscotty, their hottest hitter right now, not in the lineup today. Aledmys Diaz, the young shortstop, off to a great start in his career, also in the dugout today. So it's Grichuk, Moss, and Jerko here, top of the second. 0-2 pitch. Front door. That had a funny sound. Did he break another bat? Zimmerman has to really stretch for a sidearm throw by Rendon. 1 out.
Join us for the first Budweiser viewing party at Nats Park, Saturday, June 4th. Nats take on the Reds live from Cincinnati. So come to the yard. You can watch the game on the big screen. Enjoy $5 Budweisers and Bud Light specials. Gates open at 3 o'clock. Visit nationals.com/viewing party. So party at the yard while we're gone. I'm in.
We could arrange that.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Serious.
Brandon Moss.
I'll be here.
Ball 1.
Was here last night. What a great atmosphere. I mean, this place was packed. It was rocking. Balls flying out of the yard again.
Breaking ball. Long way for Rendon. Makes the play. Just too far to go. He made it as well as you could. And he ended up all hugged up with Chris Maloney, the third base coach there. Base hit, Brandon Moss.
Yeah, pretty good effort to make it this close. Brandon Moss beating the shift. Little inside out swing down the third base line. Watch Anthony Rendon going into the Cardinals dugout across his body. And Ryan Zimmerman with a nice pick trying to sell the call. Nice play on both ends.
2 hits for St. Louis. Holiday the other way. Moss the other way. And now Jed Jerko for the Cardinals. He's at second base today. One of the reasons he's in the lineup, 4 for 11 career and a home run against Strasburg, and now he's 5 for 12. Tell you, this team knows how to string hits together. He had 12 last night. First and second, one out with Eric Fryer, the catcher, next. He hasn't played much, but he's 10 for 21. Fryer from the Columbus area, Reynoldsburg, Ohio high school. Hit .338 for the Buckeyes in 3 years. Strasburg misses low and away, ball one. Fryer's been around for a while. Limited big league action in parts of 5 years previously with the Pirates and the Twins. It's in there to even the count.
Do you think Eric Fryer cut up his batting gloves so that nobody would buy him on eBay? That's why he's going no gloves.
He's a catcher. He doesn't need gloves. Tough guy. He went 1 for 3 against Strasburg on April 29th at St. Louis when Steven and the Nats beat Leake and the Cardinals 5-4. I got that weekend off to a good start. Joe Ross would win 6-1 on Saturday. Max Scherzer 6-1 on Sunday. And a surprisingly one-sided sweep by the Nats. One ball, 2 strikes. Breaking ball, a big one, hard to make contact with. Steven Strasburg's 5th out is his first strikeout. Nissan will track it.
And he goes with the curveball here, and it just disappears off the table. I don't care who you are. This is a tough one to hit. Look at the rotation on that. The release point out front in the late break. Fryer running out of bat. Good pitch.
There's Waka, a 100 career hitter with 9 RBIs. We'll give you his season stats after this at bat.
See, I like that pitch by Steven Strasburg right there. It takes away the ambush from the opposing pitcher. A lot of times pitchers from other teams with runners in scoring position, they're coming up looking first pitch fastball. They're going to try to ambush you, 1-0 lead, and Strasburg drops a get me over curveball in there against Waka. So many times you see pitchers just lay a heater right in their first pitch to the opposing pitcher, and it usually ends up as a hit.
Yeah. They've been known to get around late and hit it right into right field for an RBI. St. Louis not great speed on the bases here with 2 outs. Although Moss is getting a good secondary lead at second, and that's strike 2. 96, enough to eat up any hitter on the inner half.
Well, I think I mentioned this before. Pete McCann, the Phillies manager, when he was a manager in AAA, used to have a rule that pitchers couldn't throw other pitchers a first pitch fastball in any situation. Let's see if they do it in Philadelphia tomorrow.
Yeah. Close. An 0-2 pitch, just skipping beyond the outside edge.
Did it have enough run back to it? Pretty good pitch.
Could have been called either way. Strasburg, a step off. Superstitious, I'm not, but for those of you who are, Michael Waka now 0 for 19 on the year. So they strand 2, and here comes the leading hitter in baseball at 390. Murphy next. Brought to you by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their all-star sales event with up to $1,100. And instant rebates are 0% APR for 36 months. And by your local Kia dealers. Take advantage of Memorial Day weekend with great deals during the Kia Summers on Us sales event. Number 37, 30 pitches, 22 strikes. With a couple of Ks, 3 hits, first 2 innings. The Nats went in order, so it'll be 4, 5, 6. Murphy, Zimmerman, Rendon here. Murphy hit by a pitch, 2 for 7 in the series. And against Waka, career 3 for 11 with a home run. Daniels on a 7-game hitting streak, getting protection subtly from the big bopper behind him. Ryan Zimmerman's come alive. Murphy 427 during his streak, and Waka paints the inside edge, 0-2.
Daniel Murphy gathering information like he always does, talking to home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg about that pitch.
That one skipping in front of the plate.
It's a pretty good one. Check it out. Jeep inside the numbers. Most hits in a single month in Nats history. There you go. Daniel Murphy, 41 knocks in May and counting. Is that good?
That is amazing. Well, do the math on that times 6 months. That would be unbelievable. Murphy, 140 hits last year. He only played in 130 games. He got beat up a time or two. Hit 281 for the Mets. He gets jammed and pops it up left field. 3 in pursuit, and Matt Holliday will make the call. 4 straight for Waka to start his day.
So how about Ryan Zimmerman last night with a couple of taters? This one a no-doubter. Right center field, warm night, ball flying here at Nats Park. It's been Coors Field East. And he got an off-speed pitch. Dude, that one was gone too. So a couple of homers last night, lit up the crowd, gave them something to cheer about.
Yeah, the Nats hit 3 last night. They're up to 61 on the year. Second in the league behind the 70 of the Mets and the 68 of the Cardinals.
That was the 16th time he's done that in his career, multi-homer game. There it is.
Well, Ryan holds most of the Nationals' offensive records. Jose Guillen, Michael Morse, Josh Willingham down at the bottom. Adam Dunn had a couple of big years here in terms of power. The 0-1 with 1 out. Zimmerman pops this one up for Jed Jerko.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one today, look forward to Miller time later in the ball game. That is brought to you by Miller Lite.
Well, you talked about this last week. Dusty Baker will give guys a day off even when they're going well. And that's the case with Anthony Rendon.
Well, there's scheduled days off, so he doesn't care if you've lost the first 2 games of a series or you're going for a sweep. If he schedules a day off, he stays with it.
First game of the series Thursday night. Rendon 2 singles up the middle in 3 trips. Friday night, a walk, a steal, opposite field double, and an infield hit. That was that line drive off Matt Bowman's leg. Is it playable for Adams? It is, right next to the tarp. And on 3 fly balls, the Nationals go quickly in the bottom of the second. Strasburg and Waka both looking sharp.
Both pitchers on point here early. All right, here you are, Zim. Coming out in your wig, play your bat. 80s night, June 10th. Go to nationals.com/80s night for more info. It's going to be a fun night at the Yard.
I missed that yesterday when
I think they should combine 80s and ladies night, and then you have 80s ladies night.
Brilliant.
Leg warmers, big hair. Not that coat.
Double knit uniforms for the ball players. Top of the third, top of the order, Matt Carpenter. Fly ball to left, first time up. He went power mode last year, gave up some contact and hit 28 home runs. Funny thing was, he batted the exact same as he had the year before, 272. Guy's one of the best gap shooters in baseball. 44 doubles last year, led the league. Strasburg, devastating changeup at 88. First 2 innings, 30 pitches, 22 strikes. Facing a ball club that puts it in play, so he gave up 3 hits to the first 9 batters, but struck out the battery to end the second.
So you get left-handers thinking about that fastball in an 0-2 count. I mean, now I'm thinking, man, if he throws that first strike, I got to start early. And then what do you do off that? You throw that changeup away, and I'm spent. My shoulder flies, my hips fly. That's why his average has been so solid against left-handers.
1-2 pitch. Went with the mid-90s out there. Kershaw and Cologne, by the way. The Dodger-Met game, it's the Sunday night game, as you would expect. So the Nats a chance to post a W on the board before the Mets play. And a 1-2 to Carpenter.
Did you see the pitch from Noah Syndergaard to Chase Utley last night?
The one that was 4 feet behind him?
It just missed. I think it could have went either way. Thought it had the outer half behind him.
You know,
it just slipped.
I know some people say that Terry Collins shouldn't have been thrown out, but when you look at what Syndergaard's done lately with control.
Hey, every once in a while you can hit the mascot.
Makes for a good movie. That ball hit extremely hard and foul, but you know, if the umpires are supposed to read intent, I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Well, if you're going to hit somebody, hit him. Don't throw it 4 feet behind him.
I know that was a point that was made as well.
He's got good command. He was throwing 100 on the black against the Nats last time they faced him. So don't scare me. Drill me.
2-2. Ramos unable to glove that one. The count goes full. Matt Carpenter, one of the leading walk guys in the league. So he's hitting under 250, but his on-base percentage is over 370. He's walked 32 times. Mercedes-Benz with the entire at bat here. Three-two pitch, and straight up it goes. Michael A. Taylor looking up into a gray sky this afternoon. He has it. Tonight on WUSA 9, and we're thankful that they joined us today. Don't miss 60 Minutes plus the season finale of Undercover Boss, then Madam Secretary and Elementary. It all starts tonight at 7, followed by WUSA 9 News at 11. Here's Greg Garcia. One hop soft liner to Danny Espinosa first time.
It's just like all the Cardinals hitters are clones. They all have beards. They all battle you. If you look up real quick, you can't tell if it's Carpenter or Garcia. Holiday with, I mean, it's just. that look the same, and they all fight you.
Yeah, they're tough outs. Murphy gets behind that one, and from the grass throws to Zimmerman, 2 down. Next up, Matt Holliday. It's interesting. They're 5th in the league in batting average, but they're 1st in runs, which tells you when they do get hits, they have a way of stringing them together and building rallies. That's what they did early in that ball game against Gio last night.
Look, they're lining them up.
A lot of 0-2 counts without batters retired in this series. Scherzer had a similar stretch against these guys on Friday. St. Louis native, and to a certain extent they got even with him in game 2 of the series after he pitched so well in St. Louis. Here's an 0-1 to Holliday, who's 3 for 8 in the series. 96 right by him. Wow. Almost a carbon copy of the first one. More of a ground ball that time. Now Matt Holliday is 8 for 14 career against Steven Strasburg.
Well, they wanted to elevate that. Wilson Ramos almost stood up in his crouch, and they wanted to go above his letters, and watch, just leaves it a little bit in the strike zone too much. Watch Ramos. He wants fastball up. He actually kind of stands up right here, wants it around his mask, and look where it ended up, out over the plate, right where Matt Holliday likes it. He likes to get extended. He likes the ball away, and he obviously get on top of the high fastball.
And Holliday's numbers against Steven would reveal that that's what he does, because he's never hit a homer against Strasburg. He only has 1 RBI, but he's kind of wearing out the other side with base hits. Adams fly ball to Harper first time. In a situation just like this, runner at first, 2 outs. And he was pumping on 2-0.
He used to have a beard. Kind of tightened it up a little bit. I'm telling you, St. Louis clones.
One pitch. Right-handed on deck in Randall Grichuk. So how badly does Steven want to go against a left-hander here who's hit 6 home runs? Murphy on the grass in right. And the count is full, 3-2. Holliday about to get a head start. Zimmerman backs up and plays way behind him. Swing and a miss as Adams totally left the strike zone to strike out. Strasburg, 3rd K. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. On our Honda do-up is Wilson Ramos. How about May? 325, 13 RBIs, 24 games.
Miles, brought to you by Hair Cuttery, home of the Smile Back Guarantee. No small print, just big smiles. At the ballpark, beautiful day for baseball. Should be smiling, right? Where else would you rather be?
When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. It's all brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you, Brian Goodwin having a great year for the Chiefs. Wearing out lefties. A bright future on the horizon for that talented outfielder, Brian Goodwin. Wilson Ramos in the series, 1 for 8. Lobaton handled Gio last night. So those numbers in May I gave you for Ramos: 3 home runs, 13 batted in, 24 games this month. St. Louis has pitched him well. He's 1 for 8 coming into this game 4 at bat. And the 0-2 to Ramos. With Fryer moving well outside, the fastball out there, ball 1.
Tell you what, you hear about all the struggles Michael Wacha's having. I'll tell you one thing, his tempo is good. I mean, he's getting it and going. He's got a nice pace going. That tells me that he's confident in his stuff. Guys that are searching usually take a lot more time between pitches than Wacha's taken.
Yeah, good call. 3-2. Now a pretty good at bat by Wilson Ramos. Danny Espinosa, who's turning into a bit of a Cardinal killer, is on deck. How about Ramos? 0-2, and then he takes the walk. He's not an easy guy to walk. That's only 10 for the year. He's the Nats' first base runner.
A 23rd walk of the year for Wacha. He leads the Cardinals staff in that category.
Yeah, he's barely 2-1 in strikeout to walk ratio. Danny Espinosa, 2 solo homers in this series, giving him in his career against St. Louis pitching 9 home runs and 19 RBIs, hitting around 270. Good rip, and that ball went straight back. Against Wacha, he's 2 for 6. Michael Wacha, first 2 innings, 21 pitches, 15 strikes.
And that's the pitch with Wacha that was so deadly. And we first saw him, what was that, 2-3 years ago, when he almost threw the no-hitter against the Nats in St. Louis. We'd never seen it before, and his fastball that night was 97 miles an hour, and his changeup was in the low 80s off of 97. So there was a 15 to 16 mile an hour difference between those 2 pitches, and they both, at least from the center field camera, looked identical.
Espinosa taking a rip at 93 to stay alive. That was September 24th of 2013. Michael Wacha had 2 outs in the 9th inning of a no-hitter when Ryan Zimmerman bounced one off of his outstretched glove for the game's only hit. They took him out. Rosenthal got Jason Worth, and it was a 2-0 one-hitter.
Shoulder issues between then and now.
Yeah, he was untouchable back then. 1-2 to Danny, and Espinosa is going to be struck out looking as Waka dropped a curveball right under his hands to the inside edge. Nissan will track it.
Pretty nasty curveball right here. He only throws it 9% of the time, but you look at the 12-6 break on that, right over the top. And Danny Espinosa thinking that might break in a little bit. Looked like he tried to get hit with it, and it came back for a strike.
The game was Michael Waka's rookie year, by the way. He was 3-1 at the time. Really charging in from third, Matt Carpenter. Then Strasburg laid off the pitch for ball one. Steven, one sacrifice this year, 32 in his career. Tied with Max Scherzer for first on the staff with 5 hits. Joe Ross 4, Gio Gonzalez 3. He switches off and taps something that's just like a bunt. And Waka didn't want a chance to throw to second, even with Ramos running. Wilson's in scoring position with 2 outs. Our next 5, 3 at Philly, all night games. And in that series, it'll be Tanner Roark tomorrow night against Jeremy Hellickson, Joe Ross, Aaron Nola Tuesday, Max Scherzer, Adam Morgan on Wednesday. Day off, on to Cincinnati for 3. And then another day off to the south side of Chicago for 3 on a 9-game trip. Tanner Roark is 3-4 with a 2.71 ERA. Ben Revere now a chance to put the Nationals on top. So 7 career plate appearances against Waka. He has 2 hits, 2 walks. Inside, then upstairs, 2-0.
I don't know how interested Michael Waka is in Ben Revere here, even though, Ben not as locked in as he'd love to be. But Michael Taylor on deck. You get the right-on-right matchup. He struck out Taylor first time up. Let's see if he goes fastball here or if this is a pitch around.
He goes heater, but it's a one-hopper right to Jed Jerko. Nationals strand their only base runner so far. To the middle innings we go. No score. Welcome back to Nationals Park, and it's our DynCorp International Troop Recognition. It's brought to you by DynCorp International, proudly serving our nation for 70 years. Top of the fourth, Grichuk, Moss, Jerko, Steven Strasburg. Still looking for the quick inning. He's given up 4 hits. Grichuk, ground ball to Anthony Rendon, first time up. And on a 2-0 pitch, Michael A. Taylor, center field.
Run the Bases isn't just for kids anymore. With the purchase of a special ticket, fans age 62 and older can stroll the bases following the Nationals Philly games. It's Run Till They Tag You Day at the ballpark, Saturday, June 11th. To get your senior Stroll the Bases tickets, visit nationals.com/special ticket events.
Here's Brandon Moss, infield hit first time. Nats are in a modified shift, and he put one right down the chalk line toward the third base bag. Facing Strasburg for the first time today. Strasburg ahead, targets outer half.
So 13 runs, 29 hits in last night's game. Doesn't always go like this. And one night where everybody's hitting the ball all over the campsite, and the next day crickets.
Yeah. Two. Strasburg trying to bang that inside corner. He just missed.
.59 pitches, 38 strikes.
Yeah, 16 pitches first inning, then 14 last inning with a 2-out hit by Holiday and a long at bat by Matt Carpenter to start it off. He threw 20 pitches, and now Moss is going to foul off a couple. Big crowd for a big game. 3-2, 1 out. And that ball's going to put St. Louis on top into the mezzanine in a matter of 2 or 3 seconds. Brandon Moss, 9th of the year, 1-0 St. Louis.
Pretty sure he went back-to-back changeups. This one was 89. You see the release, kind of ran right back down the middle for Brandon Moss, caught it out front. This one shot out of a cannon. He got serious pop. We saw it in St. Louis, and you see it here today.
Here's Jed Jerko. He goes up hacking, as guys will often do after a homer. So the Cardinals have now hit 69 home runs. The Mets 70. The Nats 61. Top 3 in the National League. St. Louis has undergone a transformation over the last several years of a team that hits for average power and doesn't run hardly at all, as opposed to past Cardinal teams. That's out of play to the right side, 1-2.
Great saying that Whitey Herzog's bunch ran a little bit.
They ran every chance they had. Mike Matheny got his 400th win here Friday, added another one last night. One ball, two strikes. Jerko base hit to left first time up. And Strasburg goes off speed, misses inside.
He keeps wiping his hand on his pants after the changeup. And if you've watched Steven Strasburg pitch this year, when he throws that changeup with two strikes, it's not designed to be a strike. It's the one that has the split action, goes down and away to lefties, down and into righties. It drops off a table usually, and today it's kind of been staying up.
And this one out to right center. Michael A. Taylor to his left. Two down.
And the point is, I'm wondering on a hot, humid day if he's getting a good grip on that changeup.
Yeah.
Even though you hold that pitch loosely, still, if you had sweaty hands.
And Steven does sweat a lot. I remember his first couple of years. We've talked about this before. Everybody was obsessed with every little mannerism Strasburg had out there. And he would frequently, after pitch, shake his arm, shake his hand. Everybody was like, what's wrong with his arm? He was shaking off the sweat. Here's Eric Fryer, the catcher. Strasburg struck him out first time. So he's up there hacking.
You got two changeups, so throw one early in the count for a strike. It's a get-me-over change, if you want to call it that, at 88. And then the 90-mile-an-hour one with two strikes is designed to look like a strike and be nowhere near.
Oh, and 1 the count. Cardinals have worked him to 70 pitches now with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Out to center. Taylor's going to catch all 3, but there was one that nobody could catch as Moss went way out of here. And after 3.5, the visitors by 1. 500 tomorrow. 2 races today, qualifying race back in the first inning, so Abe guiding his car straight home, and then 4 qualify, and evidently Herbert Hoover forgot that at Indy you make left turns, at Nationals Park you make right turns.
Yeah, he went on Juan Pablo Montoya right there and crashed.
That was exciting. All right, bottom of the 4th. Taylor, Harper, and Murphy. And he rocks one into the left field corner. Taylor off to the races. Matt Holliday picks it up barehanded. Even on the left side of the field, he knows he's got to get it in a hurry. That's one of Michael A. Taylor's hardest hit balls recently. Tying run, second base to lead off the 4th.
And 5th double of the year for Taylor, and watch him get on top of the high fastball, roll the wrists. See Matt Carpenter in for the bunt, ball past him. There was nothing he could do. So there goes the no-hitter, Michael Taylor style, with a leadoff double here in the 4th. And people throw around the term ambush way too much. They say it anytime somebody swings at the first pitch. A true ambush is you swing at the first pitch no matter where it's at. And that was up for Michael Taylor. He got on top of it. And that's trying to answer the Brandon Moss Tater.
Here's Bryce Harper. Bouncing ball right side first time. So the Nats have only had Waka off the stretch for 3 at-bats today after the Ramos leadoff walk in the 3rd. Big gap left center.
So last night, Bryce Harper's 2nd home run of the series, his 13th of the year, and he went straight away center field and knew it. Up on the Astro turf in the Clown's Mouth, free game of miniature golf, folks. Watch it roll all the way back down. A little shout out to his folks as he goes back to the dugout.
2-0 pitch. Goes changeup. A lot of homers in this series. 5 by St. Louis, 6 by Washington. Bryce, a couple of them to get up to 13 on the year. 3rd highest total in the league. Cespedes 14, Arenado, 15, Arenado 14. And then Bryce and several others at 13. Harper, right field. That's a base hit. Taylor had to hold up for a moment. They're going to send him anyway. And Moss won't even try it. That quickly, the Nats are back even. Bryce Harper, RBI number 34. Is it fun watching Michael Taylor run the bases or what?
Well, he's got makeup speed, and he had to see if that was going to drop. So you're wondering, with nobody out, if Bob Henley was going to send Michael Taylor. And because Brandon Moss was going toward the line, watch Bob Henley in the bottom if we stay with him here. He's watching. And as soon as he sees Moss going toward the line, not necessarily away from the play, but toward the line, he sends Michael A. Taylor. So a good send by Henley. And the Nats answer the home run.
Yeah, Bryce trying to break back into the top 5 in the league in RBIs. He's also stolen 7 bases in 11 attempts. And Harper's in the top 10 in that department as well.
Tell you what, we hear Bryce Harper's home runs with our audio in our headset all the time. And last night, sitting behind home plate and listening to that home run he hit, the sound of it sounded like it was shot out of a can. I mean, just hearing the different sound off his bat when you're sitting close to the game is something that we don't get to hear very often. And it was pretty impressive last night.
The lead runs aboard. Nobody out. 4th inning. Murphy, 30 RBIs. 3 career hits against Waka with a homer and 2 batted in. Right behind Davey Lopes.
But the great shot of Murphy after ball 1, and he stepped out, and he was showing you what he did taking the pitch. He didn't like the way he took the pitch. He was kind of bowing his front elbow out like he was chicken winging on the take. And good hitters will tell you, you know, how did I take that pitch? And he's so analytical up there and thinking about every little thing he does. So even though it was a ball 1, he didn't like the way he took it.
Harper running. Murphy, center. It's going to hang up for Randall Grichuk. So Murphy 0 for 2 on fly balls. Harper back to first, 1 out.
DC Lexus dealers, they're donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Ryan Zimmerman has had a couple of spectacular games lately. He's looking for more consistency. Still having a good series, 4 for 12, a walk, 2 home runs. That gets away. Harper, though, took a look at it, and Eric Fryer kept it close.
The lean going by Bryce. 7 stolen bases on the year. Has been caught 4 times. You see the change in the game plan for the Nats. It was a feeling out process first time around. Is Michael Wacha going to throw strikes? Does he have his good stuff? Check that box. Yes. So what do we do second time around? Get him. There's nothing to wait for. Come out hacking. He's showing you he's got his good stuff today. He's throwing strikes. Be aggressive early in the count. It's the adjustment that you make as a major league hitter. If you had a guy coming off a tough start, I want to see what he's got. Is he the same guy as the last outing against the Cubs? Feel him out, get him in the strike zone. Okay, you showed us. Now we go to work.
Counts even. Zimmerman hits it well to right. That ball's carrying off the wall. Harper to third. Zimmerman to second. And Ryan Zimmerman almost left the premises the other way. Starting to pile up some extra base hits. Second and third, 1 out.
And fastball up from Wacha. 10th double of the year for Zimmerman. Watch the location. Belt high out over the plate. Zimmerman with a little hesitation there. I think he thought he got him off the top of the Delta sign. And I think if Brandon Moss throws this to second base, he's got a chance for Ryan Zimmerman, but he hit the cutoff man. Second and third, 1 out. Nats in business here in the 4th.
Respect for Strasburg here relatively early in the game. Mike Matheny pulling his infield in. Anthony Rendon fouled out first time up. But he has been on some kind of batting run for the last 2 to 3 weeks. Strike call.
Yeah, last 17 games, Rendon 22 for 59, 373. 12 walks in there, 9 multi-hit games. Rick Schuh liking what he's seeing here in the 4th.
Walker tried to catch the outside edge with that breaking pitch. Mercedes-Benz will track the AB here.
But maybe earlier you're thinking about doing damage, and now we've seen Anthony Rendon in these situations spread out, use the whole field, think the other way. He's as good as it gets in baseball, letting the ball get deep and taking it right out of the catcher's glove.
Low and away. Well, something about 4 innings for Waka this year, at least lately, has been a problem. So here in the 4th, the Nats getting to him, now trying to get on top. Rendon the other way.
So where do you stand as an infielder with a runner on third when it's infield in? It's based on the speed of the runner, and right now the Cardinals are starting on the grass and walking in a couple of steps. You see the left side with Garcia and Carpenter. The reason they're so tight is because of Bryce Harper's speed at third. You got a below average runner at third base. That allows me a couple steps back as an infielder, even when my manager tells me infield in. So based on Bryce Harper's speed, the Cardinals real tight here. What's that mean? It opens up a few holes for Anthony Rendon.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Rendon takes a fastball low and in.
It's a good take.
Rendon, you hardly ever see that. Totally fooled on 86, 2 outs.
Nasty changeup from Michael Wacha, 86 miles an hour. Best pitch he's made all day. Needed a strikeout and he got it.
Yeah. It's up to Wilson Ramos now. Wacha had him 0-2 first time and then walked him to lead off the 3rd.
That was, I'm going to throw my changeup as hard as I can, and I don't care if it's ball 4. If he wants to swing at it, swing at it. With first base open and 1 out, I'm just going to get on top of this and throw it hard. He had nothing to lose right there by throwing that pitch. You swing at it, great. You don't, I'm thinking about a double play with the guy on deck.
Ramos 21 RBIs, 13 this month. That's into right field, and it's on the ground. Harper scores. Here comes Zimmerman. Ball is cut off, and Wilson Ramos puts the Nationals on top 3-1.
Well, picking each other up. Anthony Rendon striking out on a tough changeup, and then Wilson Ramos gets a fastball in the inner half and goes with that classic inside-out swing, dumps it into right. Ball cut off, 2 runs scored. Nice piece of hitting by the Buffalo. Little point from Daniel Murphy. Nicely done, Wilson Ramos, 3-1.
15 RBIs this month by a guy who bats 7th in your order. Impressive. Now it's Danny Espinosa. The Nats have put 4 hits nearly together here in the bottom of the 4th, and the big frame they've been looking for. Espinosa struck out looking first time on a nasty curveball, inner edge. Couldn't flex his knees enough to get down to that 84 changeup. The count's 1-1.
Yeah, that pitch to Wilson was belt tied. If you're Michael Wacha and you're down with that pitch, it's hard to get inside of. It's hard to inside out a low fastball below my knees. There's not a lot I can do with it, but if it's belt high, it's kind of right on plane where I could get my hands inside of it and fight it the other way.
Man, that's one of the strongest guys in the league with a bat in his hands there, Ramos.
If it's down on my knees, I can't hit this ball to right. But if it's around my belt, he wants it away. Watch the location mistake. It allows me to get my hands inside and elevate this ball. If it's down, I can't. I mean, it's not the worst pitch in the world by Wacha. It's about a two-glove mistake on the other side of the plate. But the elevation of it allowed Wilson Ramos to throw it into right for a big 2-out knock.
Tried that curveball again. With Espinosa not biting, the count goes to 2-2.
The guy who's really good at that comes to mind is Freddie Freeman. He could take a low pitch on the inner half and do that whole cricket swing he does where he goes, you know, the barrel below his hands and flips it into left. And not too many guys can do that. Ramos was going.
2-2 and Espinosa takes it. Pitcher on deck.
Too good a jump and he stopped. He's like, okay, I'm good. I'm going now for sure. 3-2, 2 outs.
In case you care, Wilson Ramos' career trying to steal 0 for 3. Career.
He's due.
There he goes. Espinosa, swing and a miss. The Nats with a Taylor double, a Harper single, a Zimmerman double, a Ramos single, put 3 runs on the board here. And the 4th inning of Nationals baseball is brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid, all-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com today.
This game summary brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Arlington. Visit them at www.justmercedes.com. 3-1 as we head to the top of the 5th. Brandon Moss, solo shot for the Cards. Wilson Ramos, the big 2-out knock, and Steven Strasburg doing his thing.
On to the top of the 5th, Michael Wacha. The Nats just made him throw 26 pitches in that 4th inning. Strasburg struck him out swinging first time. Just pulled a few pitches way out on that glove side. Nothing would be better for him than a shutdown inning, and a quick one at that.
Tell you what, I had a blast before the game sitting next door with Tim McCarver. He's doing some games for the Cardinals this year. And just talk about a wonderful human being that had an amazing career as a player and as a broadcaster. The stories and the laughs we had before the game, he is as good as it gets, folks. One of my favorite all time. And the last 4 days have been an honor and a privilege for me to sit next to that guy and just pick his brain about baseball, broadcasting, and a lot of stuff that we can't talk about on the air. He's the best. So
I got to work with Tim for 2 years back in the 90s with the Mets. A baseball joy. And the last thing Steven Strasburg wanted to do was walk Michael Wacha with a 2-run lead just given to him. Strasburg first walk today. Matt Carpenter, fly ball to left, fly ball to center.
I'll tell you what, if he bunted that, it might have been a double. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and the way he was jumping at that, I think he was trying to push that to second base or bring that with him to second base. I had a rule, if I got through 95 or over, I wasn't bunting because it was too hard to kill, too hard to deaden. Anything below that, you could handle it. Bunt for a hit, I should say.
Oh, 2 to Carpenter. Breaking ball. I just thought of a note about Tim McCarver that I had heard of, and I just looked it up to make sure it's true. His playing career was in 4 different decades in the major leagues. Came in '59 with the Cardinals, went out in 1980 with the Phillies. Touching 4 decades.
Pretty amazing career as a broadcaster, too.
And he was a catcher with power and speed. He could run. 0-2 again. And Carpenter will fly one to right. Didn't get it. Harper's under it. And Bryce knows that Wacha's not tagging. 1 out.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Just give you an idea how this ballpark's playing. That was a routine fly ball that sent Bryce Harper back in right field. And Carp, you and I have been here for 6 years now. I don't know that I've ever seen Nats Park play as small as it has this homestand. It's just been a bandbox.
Yeah, it's been a it's been a bandbox week. We got everything but a tuba and a trombone sitting out there. Breaking ball in there to Greg Garcia.
What is a bandbox? I don't even know. I just use that term because people do.
Well, it's you can find them in city parks around the country where the old brass bands used to gather and take up most of the area and play music.
Nice.
In fact, there's a bunch of those in St. Louis. They have a park there that was built for the World's Fair over 100 years ago, and it's got a lot of band boxes in it.
I mean, I use a lot of words I don't know what they mean, but that term I had no idea.
Yeah. I think if you look up John Philip Sousa, you'll learn all you need to know about bandboxes.
Did we trade him to the Rays?
No, that was the guy who dove for the Zimmerman no-hitter. Steven Souza Jr. Garcia, a couple of ground balls, one to short, one to second. I'm sure Strasburg would love not to face Holiday in this inning. And that's up and in on 0-2.
Up and in, change up away. Let's see if he does it. But as a hitter, you still have to respect 95. So if you're Greg Garcia, fastball adjust.
1-2, bounce it to third. Rendon. No chance at first. Garcia runs well. 2 outs though.
Well, Rendon playing in, so he gets to this ball a little quicker than normal. Good sidearm feed, right on the money. Daniel Murphy probably been better hanging on to that ball, but why not?
Matt Holliday twice has gone to right field on 2 strike counts. I don't know, with Stephen Piscotty not in the lineup today, maybe you concede Matt Holliday a couple of opposite field singles, keeping him in the yard. And that's the approach he's taken, as I mentioned, throughout his career against Strasburg, which now reads 8 for 14. This will be popped up the other way. Bryce Harper is drawing a bead on it, and he's got it. So Strasburg, after walking the other pitcher, does get the shutdown 5th inning he was looking for. You by T-Mobile. Zach Greinke, first 11 starts last year, first 11 starts this year with a new contract and a new ball club. Not going that well. Buster Posey drove in 6 yesterday. The Giants are 11 games over 500 with a big lead over the Dodgers. And then Ben Zobrist of the Cubs lighting it up in May. He's the guy in the offseason everybody wanted. Settle in with Chicago, came in there with Hayward and Lackey to really complete that ball club from a talent standpoint.
That started against the Nats. You remember when the Nats went to Chicago, he was ice cold and had some kind of series in that 4-game set and hasn't stopped since.
Ben Zobrist in that series had 6 hits against the Nats, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, and he walked 5 times. Strasburg, a rifle shot to right center, and a very good play by Randall Grichuk, getting his glove in position and staying with it. That ball was gashed.
I'm telling you, a lot like Coors Field, it stayed in the air forever. You're thinking this is a low line drive, it's coming down, and Grichuk makes a little adjustment toward the end. Keeps his eyes right on the baseball, and the last minute adjustment, watch him. It's like, am I going to get to this? Am I going to get to it? Steps in toward the ball. Kind of leans forward, makes a nice play.
Wow.
Negotiating all those white shirts behind home plate. It's tough as a center fielder in a day game with those low line drives.
Gio, Ross, Scherzer all have doubles this year, and Strasburg almost checked in with his first. That ball gets by, who knows, maybe 3 bags. Busted bat, Revere right side, scrambling forward Adams, got rid of it in a hurry to the covering Michael Wacha. 2 very quick outs.
Tonight on WUSA 9, don't miss 60 Minutes. That'll take you an hour. Plus the season finale of Undercover Boss, then Madam's Secretary and Elementary. It all starts at 7, followed by USA 9 News at 11.
Michael A. Taylor. He got it all started last inning. By the way, the Sun's trying to break through here. He rifled one to the left field corner for a double prior to the ensuing Harper RBI hit. Nats were off and running. Strike 2 from Wacha, working quickly here in the 5th. Evidently not gassed by having to stand around on the bases for a couple of at-bats.
If you're a pitcher and standing on the bases makes you tired, you're not in shape. I always found that funny when people are saying, well, he got on twice today. He ran the bases, and now he's tired. Well, these guys work out so hard between starts. They're always running, always lifting, throwing pens. They're probably in the best shape of anybody on the field. So running the bases does not faze pitchers. Maybe on a really hot day if you get on 2 or 3 times. But other than that,
close. 2-2. One, 2, 3 for Wacha. 5th strikeout today. 4, 5, 6 coming up for St. Louis. The Nationals 3-1.
value and accuracy of defensive metrics are widely debated throughout baseball circles, but the one defensive metric that's probably most accurate or most commonly accepted is UZR, and UZR measures the theoretical runs above or below the average major league defender. Among major league shortstops, Danny Espinosa ranks 4th in UZR. So we've seen Danny Espinosa pass the eye test when it comes to sharp defensive plays that he's made, and he makes a lot of plays look easy as well. He doesn't just pass the eye test. In terms of UZR, he passes that test as well. And again, it's defensive metrics, guys, very hotly debated topic in baseball, but Danny Espinosa among the league leaders in UZR.
That's Dan with the Coons.com sideline report. Don't miss incredible Coons Memorial Day savings going on right now. Adams, Grichuk, and Moss. Another key inning for Steven Strasburg against the middle of their batting order.
I just know he's made 4 errors and has a really good arm. And as long as the ball club's winning, it'll buy him time to figure out his swing. But he's played a great shortstop. We talk about all the numbers and how much improved they are defensively from last year. I think you're looking at the main reason why. He's played a really good shortstop.
He's the best defensive player on the best defense in baseball.
I'll buy that. Right fielder's good too. Third baseman too.
3-1. Adams kind of shying away from a pitch that was coming in on him. He walks a leadoff man again. Last inning, after he walked Waka, that was the only frame today where the Cardinals didn't have a hit. Randall Grichuk, ground ball to third, fly ball to center. Steven Strasburg will be up around 100 pitches shortly. That's a good job of jammage right there. Murphy waiting for it, 1 out.
But when you talk about the 94 pitches today, Carp, I feel like the only high stress inning was the second, when he had Moss on second, Jerko on first. He had to strike out Fryer, had to strike out Waka. So when you look at the pitch number, where were the red line pitches? Where was the high stress inning? Maybe the second. Other than that, he's really been on cruise control. A couple singles to Holiday, the home run. That's just 1 pitch.
Moss, an infield hit and a home run.
Home run on a changeup. He got fastball, 95.
Yeah. 95 on 95. MPH and count. Upstairs again. This time Brandon Moss lays off. That is a bolt to the outside edge. So with Ramos out there again, Moss fouls one away.
Well, you're seeing the adjustment. Pull side home run on a changeup, and it's been fastballs away this time to Brandon Moss.
Here's the at bat brought to you by Nissan. So he shows him something inside, way in there. Three-1 Nats on Harper and Ramos RBIs back in the fourth. Moss, the only St. Louis run today. One out homer, top of that inning. Two-two count with one out. This guy's a tough out. Career batting average just over 240, but he's always been a guy who's tough to pitch to. He has over 100 career home runs, getting close to 120. Batting average right around 220 with a couple of hits today. Hit 250 for St. Louis after coming over down the stretch last year. And now he has worked it to 3-2.
I think it was a 3-2 change last time. He doubled up on it twice. Got the second one. Caught it out front. See if he goes fastball away here. That's the pitch.
He does. Foul tip into Ramos mitt. Steven Strasburg, fourth K today. 2 outs in the sixth.
This fastball might have had the most movement of anyone today. Watch him get inside of it. So it's a four-seam fastball with arm side run that he just kind of got inside. Little foul tip into the glove. And when Brandon Moss had to make his decision, that ball was a strike.
There's Jerko now. 1 for 2 today. That ball hits the bag. Gets away from Rendon. Horrible break for the Nats. And a base hit for Jerko. 2 on, 2 out.
Horrible break for the Nats, but a nice break for Jed Jerko. And you think he just, oh, there's a ground out to third, but watch it hit on the bag, bounce over Anthony Rendon's head. Nothing he can do about it except for hustle after it. Just a top spin ground ball off third base. And as a hitter, you'll take a million of those. Now, just like the second, Steven Strasburg with a big at bat against Eric Fryer.
Mike Maddox done with a brief visit. Michael Wacha is on deck. Now it's actually with Oliver Perez starting to work. Stephen Piscotty has come out and he's on deck, and as I mentioned earlier, he's the, from a couple of standpoints, hottest St. Louis hitter right now. Average, power, RBIs. Big out to get here. And this ball popped up right side. Ryan Zimmerman, and that's it for St. Louis in the top of the sixth. Cardinals strand 2. They've left 7. Strasburg has frustrated them.
Ladies, it's all about you. You know that. Thursday, June 30th, Nats celebrate Ladies Night. Special ticket, enjoy pregame activities, including trivia, a player appearance, a DJ, fashion show, tailgate games, and a visit from the racing presidents. Watch out for the racing presidents, ladies. Seriously. Be on guard. You'll also receive an exclusive Nationals Infinity scarf before the Nats take on the Reds. That scarf on the right's yours. To purchase your tickets, visit nationals.com/ladiesnight, which should be with 80s night.
Bottom 6, Harper, Murphy, Zimmerman. Figures to be Michael Wacha's last. He's thrown 72 pitches, 44 strikes, coming off a 1-2-3 fifth. I think I just heard a phone ring in the right field bullpen. St. Louis already has guys moving around in theirs. Bryce 1 for 2, RBI single last time, the game tying blow. Wacha has him out ahead over the top of that one. With the shift on, Bryce is going to drop one to left field, but it's reachable for Garcia. They leave the shortstop at home on their shift and put Matt Carpenter up the middle, 1 out. Daniel Murphy in the series, 2 for 9, 0 for 2 today. Trying to extend his hitting streak to 8 games.
See the frustration from Bryce Harper. And you hear Daniel Murphy with a scream trying to get out of the way. Did you hear that? You know, sometimes, Carp, as a hitter, it's not the result of the at-bat. It's maybe something you didn't swing at during the at-bat or a pitch you swung at during the at-bat that got you to the result. And maybe Bryce Harper not frustrated that he didn't get a hit, but that 1-0 fastball is a pitch we've seen him get on before, and then he had the nasty changeups to follow that. So when you see hitters frustrated, it's not always a result.
Well, and along with that, we've seen hitters stand at first base after one of those falls in, and they've got that kind of funny reaction. Yeah, I didn't do very well there, but it dropped in this time. Murphy to left, over to his right is Matt Holliday, 2 outs. Ryan Zimmerman double last time, and that was a big blow because Bryce had tied the game. Then Murphy hit a fly ball, and then Ryan kept the thing moving with that extra base hit, giving Wilson Ramos a chance for his 2-out heroics. So in the series now, Zimmerman 5 for 13, 3 extra base hits, 3 RBIs. Target in. Right in there for a strike.
We're going to watch Ryan for 6 years now, and even just his setup right now looks more relaxed. You know, you can see the veins in his forearms, and he's gripping the sawdust out of the bat when he's struggling, but right now he's nice and loose. And that's when he gets that barrel whip, that bat whip, and the ball starts to travel. But when he's fighting it as any hitter, you know, you're squeezing the bat, your muscles are tight, and inevitably your bat speed slows down. He's got that whippy swing going all of a sudden.
2-2. 3-1 lead, 2 outs, bases empty. Got him in the dirt. So Michael Wacha will finish his day with 6 strikeouts. If they indeed pinch it for him, it's 3-1 Nats.
Only 4 strikeouts. So not what you'd think of when you think of a Strasburg start, but how about the 10 flyouts he's gotten today? So kind of living dangerously in this ballpark that's playing small because of the heat in this homestand. Steven Strasburg with 10 flyouts in this one. Now it's time for Toyota K's for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making that $37 donation to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season, and that's going to do it for Steven Strasburg. Here comes Dusty Baker.
104 pitches, 66 strikes. Dusty did that as soon as the left-handed batter Colton Wong was announced as the pinch hitter. So for Strasburg, 6 innings, 6 hits, couple of walks, but he gave up just 1 home run. He is in line with some help to go 9-0. At Citizens Bank Park, and tomorrow night, Tanner Roark goes for Washington. Won his last start at Miami, going nearly 7 innings on just a run. 3-3, 2.89 ERA, and Jeremy Hellickson beat the Nats on April 27th. with 7 really good innings and no runs. Coverage begins 6:30. Nats Extra. Johnny and Ray. Tomorrow night we join you at 7 from the bank. Strasburg done. Oliver Perez is on. And now St. Louis will counter with Aledmys Diaz, a right-handed batter against Oliver Perez.
Yeah, Perez 2 pitches, fastball 91, slider 79. All kinds of different arm angles, deliveries. He'll quick pitch you.
Inside ball 1, 7th inning underway. So St. Louis has to use 2 players for this move, with Dusty changing to the lefty. St. Louis box score. A couple of hits in the second. Moss and Jerko back-to-back. Strasburg struck his way out of that one. And the only home run, or rather the only run, the homer by Brandon Moss. 1 out, 4th inning. Since then, Strasburg only gave up 2 walks and a hit. Perez tries to get inside again, misses 2-1. A ball cracked into left field by Aledmys Diaz. The kid's career is off to some kind of start, hitting .319 into that at bat, and he's 3 for 3 as a pinch hitter.
It doesn't matter who Mike Matheny throws up there. He has had the magic touch with pinch hitters this year. And the more you see Diaz play, the guy's got a good approach, and he doesn't get cheated.
Their pinch hitters this year are batting .358 with that hit.
It makes it easy on a manager. You go hit. I don't care. You guys figure it out.
Yeah, the only team with better pinch hitting numbers than the Nats are the Cardinals. So it's strike 1 to Matt Carpenter. He's gone 7, 8, and 9 with his fly ball outs today. Big curveball, strike 2. Unreachable.
To kind of backing up what Dan said the other night about Oliver Perez in his windups. I talked to him yesterday, and he said some that he predetermines what he's going to do, others he just kind of wings it. In the 2-strike one against lefties, usually the full back to the lefty, a pause at the back, and then the drop down slider, or he'll quick pitch you too. There's a quick pitch.
Two. Carpenter trying to hang in there. It's so hard to do against that curve. Rendon, 1 out on the foul ball. Inside the numbers with Jeep. So National League team bullpen ERA leaders, the Nats. The only team in this league under 3 runs a game with the guys from the pen.
Look at the NL average, 3.98.
Wow. Greg Garcia 0 for 3. Out to short. Oh, it's over Espinosa. Not hit that well, but they drop it in. And Matt Holliday is due up. Blake Treinen ready in the Nats bullpen.
Dusty on the top step. Here he comes.
So Perez faces 3 batters, gives up 2 hits. And it'll be Blake Treinen in a power matchup with Matt Holliday. 3-1 Nats lead in the balance here in the top of the 7th with a long way to go. Cardinals, and Blake Treinen gets the call about against a big power guy coming up. Blake in 21 innings spanning 23 ball games, a 3 ERA and 21 Ks.
And Dusty bringing him in for that 2-seam fastball that's mid to upper 90s, trying to induce a ground ball out of Matt Holliday. And this could be a one-hitter deal. We'll see how it goes.
And it's an important hitter for Blake Treinen for a lot of reasons. Nats have a lead, tying runs on base, and Matt Holliday's 2 for 2 career against him. He went 2 for 3 against Strasburg, moving the ball to the right side all 3 times. Singles in the 1st and 3rd, fly ball to Harper in the 5th.
Well, Holliday likes to get extended. His power's up the middle into right center. I mean, he pulled the home run off a left-hander, Gio, last night, but this sinker in is what Dusty Baker wants. Right,
got it. Great pitch. Holliday didn't like it. So Aledmys Diaz led off with a pinch single, went to second on the Garcia flare right over Danny Espinosa. Carpenter fouled out in between. 2 on 1 out.
See, that's what he's hunting. He's hunting something up out over the plate so he can shoot it the other way. He didn't like the fastball close to him. He'll cheat on that every once in a while, especially from a left-hander whose release point's on the other side. But if you keep that sinker close to him, you get a ground ball right here if you're Blake Treinen.
Holliday's a big man who makes contact about 80% of the time. Chopper high in the air. Espinosa's got to be quick. No. at first base. Bases loaded. Tough break. Trying to get the grounder, but it bounced so high, Danny couldn't make it up.
Oh, when you have a good sinker, you're vulnerable to this. And Blake Trinan this year has to be leading the league in swinging bunt hits with that sinker and choppers off the plate. So Matt Holliday does a nice job of putting the ball in play. There's nothing Danny Espinosa can do about that. Did all he could, and Holliday smelling the hit, puts his head down. And goes hard to first base for the infield single. And now Dusty Baker going to go double switch and get Felipe Rivero, his best pitcher in the bullpen so far this year in the game.
And that would be Felipe Rivero. Nats will have a couple of defensive changes to go along with it. We'll get you updated in a crucial situation shortly. Evidently will stay and face Felipe Rivero.
There's the Arsenal fastball 95 to 98, slider 81. The changeup has become a good friend of Felipe's this year. Pitch we didn't see a whole lot of last year, but you would think against left-hander Matt Adams it was strictly fastball slider. And he is in for one reason, that's the strikeout.
Chris Heisey comes in. He'll bat ninth on the double switch. Play left field. Michael A. Taylor out. Ben Revere moves to center. Adams is 0 for 1 career against Rivero with a strikeout. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2-run game, top 7. Low.
If you're wondering, Matt Adams .316 against left-handers this year, 6 for 19.
Threw him the hook and Adams pulled off. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, he's thinking grand slam. 1-0. I'm gearing up for 96, and he got the slider. Big swing for Matt Adams and a good pitch selection and execution by Felipe Rivero. Way out in front.
Then he gets the heater and just misses. So now it's Diaz at third, Garcia to second, Holliday at first. Count goes to 2-2.
I mean, look at the confidence in Felipe Rivero. 1-0 slider, then you're 2-1 with the bases loaded, nowhere to put Matt Adams. What do you throw? Another slider behind in the count. That's something you would have never seen from Felipe Rivero last year. It would have been, I'm going to throw this one harder, and this one hardest. And now if you're Matt Adams, you have no idea what's coming here in a 2-2 count.
Crowd getting into it here. 7th inning. Tight situation. And a 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit to right. Bryce Harper's there. It'll make it a 1-run game. Bryce is going to rifle one over to third, but easily getting over there is Garcia. And now the score is 3-2.
That's a nice piece of hitting by Matt Adams. Made the 2-strike adjustment, swung and missed at a few sliders, put that one into play and brought his ball club within 1 run. Good at bat.
Here's Randall Grichuk, 0 for 3. Facing Rivero for the first time. That run charge to Oliver Perez, who's still responsible for Garcia at third. And the changeup to the right-hander, low and away. High in the air, left field side. Espinosa out, Heisey in, just came in, and he grabs it. And Felipe Rivero gets the Nationals 2 huge outs in the 7th. So it's time to stretch or go for a stroll. 3-2 ball game. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals.
And that's hanging on to their 3-2 lead. 7th inning stretch. And it's time for our Miller moment. Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. And we're going to go back to the 4th inning. The Buffalo, after Anthony Rendon struck out on a nasty changeup from Michael Wacha, goes with the inside-out approach, dumps it into right. 2 runs would score. Ryan Zimmerman with the head-first slide, and that's where we're at, 3-2 on the big knock, the Miller moment by the Buffalo.
Now the Nationals are into the St. Louis bullpen. Rendon, Ramos, Espinosa due up, bottom 7 against 31-year-old Jonathan Broxton. Just looking over some of the matchup numbers. Rendon 0 for 1. Ramos 0 for 3. Espinosa 1 for 3. This is the big man's first appearance of this series.
Yeah, fastball 94, slider 87, occasional changeup at 88.
That's box score. You can just take it all into the 4th inning. Taylor double, Harper RBI single, Zimmerman double, Ramos drives in 2 with a single. It's the only inning today in which the Nats have had hits. Time to add on with Rendon stepping in. He's 0 for 2. First pitch swinging, high drive, right center, still going, and at the very top of the scoreboard, ruled a home run by Alan Porter, the second base umpire. Rendon, number 4, and the Nats get the run right back.
I'm telling you what, you square up a baseball in the air in Nats Park in this series, it's got a good chance of going in the seats. And just like in the 4th inning when they answered the Cardinals run, they answered the run in the 7th.
Umpires are waiting to see if Mike Matheny might request a crew chief's review here. If so, it would involve Alan Porter, who called it a home run, and the crew chief Jeff Kellogg, who has the plate.
Let's see it again. Where did it
hit? HR. I mean, I don't blame the Cardinals for asking the umpires to look at it, but appeared to be clearly on the top of or over the green strip up there with the railing right there. Crowd seems to like it.
So, man.
Nets lead 4-2.
I mean, how much carry did this ball have? Watch the backspin created right here by the right down to the baseball swing on a fastball right down the middle. The roll of the wrist, barrel to the baseball, a lot like Ryan Zimmerman's home run that way last night. Big swing of the bat for Anthony Rendon.
Only the second homer given up by Broxton this year. Here's Ramos. He goes up hacking and hits a shot to right foul. Anthony's 4th of the year, RBI number 15. Ramos has hit 5 and driven in 23, including the big blow of this game, the 2-run, 2-out single in the 4th. Outside edge, 0-2. Into the 4 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park. Last Sunday game of May. The guys trying to get out of town with a 3-4 homestand record and on to Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and the south side of Chicago. Every day's a good day to win, but today the Phillies are getting blasted, and the Mets have to face Clayton Kershaw tonight. Ramos, quite a take.
See, that's a pitch he doesn't take last year. We always talk about the surgery he had in spring training, the eye surgery, and how he's seeing the rotation on the baseball. He was swinging at those in the dirt consistently in 2015. And this year we've seen him take that pitch way more.
2-2 to Wilson Ramos. Nobody out. Look at that. This guy has become some kind of hitter. He'll be back up over 325, approaching 330 on base for the third time today.
No, beautiful piece of hitting going with it, but it was the pitch before that he took, a borderline slider that we've seen him swing at before in the past when his vision wasn't as good, and now he gets a fastball up and drives it that way. So he extends the at-bat. He gets a straight one. He hits it to right. Nice piece of hitting.
Wilson Ramos now hitting .331. Here's Danny Espinosa. A reminder, Chris Heisey's on deck after the Nats made the double switch.
I feel like Wilson Ramos has a good chance to make 2 trips to San Diego this year.
I mean, he's been leading all catchers in baseball in hitting for the first 2 months.
And if you're going to take 2 trips somewhere, I vote for San Diego.
Left-hander Dean Kiekeffer. That's with Revere in mind. Still 2 spots away. And then a pinch hitter for Taylor that could be Stephen Drew or Clint Robinson. Pitcher batting in the 2nd spot for the Nationals right now. I mean, Ramos was basically standing on the bag when that throw came over.
You know, something we haven't really talked about too as we approach the All-Star game. This is the first year the Nats have an All-Star manager in their own division who's going to see him play a lot. In the past, it's been Bruce Bochy, Bruce Bochy, Bruce Bochy. He gets to see him play 3 times, and then, you know, quite frankly, the Nats haven't had a lot of representatives in the All-Star game, I think, because of that. When you're on the West Coast and you see a team play once for 3 days before the All-Star game, if that, how do you know who's the All-Star on that team? Yeah, you call the manager, he tells you, you have the whole voting thing.
Sure. But
now you have Terry Collins, who's going to be the All-Star manager this year, getting to see you play a lot. So you feel like the right decisions will be made in that regard for who's the representative in San Diego.
Always did like that guy, Terry Collins.
Oh, he's the best. No, I do. I honestly
no, I know
do.
you've spent some time with him.
I'm a huge fan.
And that's a good point.
I think he's
interesting to see. 2-1. Target away. Espinosa, right field, base hit. I thought Brandon Moss might take a shot, but he pulled up. Ramos had to wait for a while. He gets into second base. And how about the Nats stringing hits together in 2 different innings today?
Well, the ball looks big after you face Michael Wacha today, and the Cardinals, regardless of what happens in this game, have to be satisfied with his performance. And now the Nats taking advantage of Broxton. The ball looking a little bit bigger. Danny Espinosa thinking, drop, get in there, and then he's saying, go, Wilson. A lot of things had to happen right there for Espinosa's single.
Yeah.
Get down and get to second, please.
Ramos had it all the way. So here's Chris Heisey. And he'll be facing Jonathan Broxton for the first time. Chris 0 for 1 in the series coming into today's double switch action. Pinch hitter last night. Batting for Blake Trinan in the 5th inning. He hit a fly ball out. Looking to at least advance the runners. Revere on deck. No sign of squaring around. And he's been so good doing his thing this year. I hope he acts like this is a pinch hitting appearance. 3 for 11 pinch hitting, although he's already in this game, but 3 home runs.
Well, he's thinking drive the ball, the other way, and Broxton has been glove side fastball to all the righties. So he's looking for something out there.
87 got by him, 0-2. Don't forget the 2-strike takes by Ramos that got this inning kind of restarted after the Rendon home run. Then Danny Espinosa got a base hit. Broxton working slowly. Heisey called out. Now it's Ben Revere. Potomac Nationals are home. 4-game Memorial Day weekend homestand. So they've already given away the Harper bobblehead. Bark in the Park has been taken care of. But how about $1 Monday tomorrow? Join him at the Fitz. Mike Matheny, a double switch here, as he'll bring in Kekeffer, the left-hander. Jeremy Hazelbaker is heading for center field. So the Nats have added 1 run on and still a chance for more. Masson, brought to you by Night Point Systems. They offer the technology you need when you need it. And by WGL Energy. Visit WGLenergy.com for easy ways to green your energy and help the environment. Kids at the ballpark. We're all kids when we get here. So a lefty-lefty matchup coming up between 26-year-old Dean Kekeffer and Ben Revere.
Yeah, Kekeffer, 3-pitch guy, fastball 88, slider 79, changeup 84. And I don't know if you heard the boos coming back from break, but they canceled kids running the bases because of inclement weather approaching, so that didn't go over too well with the kids.
Yeah, and thus the tears. And
yeah, it's all right.
Jeremy Hazelbaker, he'll be batting 9th.
Hopefully they can watch some kids run the bases right here.
Yeah, Felipe Rivero's on deck, and if the Nats score another run or two, just as we say that, Jason Worth says, back in the dugout, my young friend. Inside. Kekeffer, kind of a herky-jerky sidearm motion there, and that ball stayed way in. It's his first year in the big leagues. Been in professional baseball since 2010. Revere, ball 2.
Revere hitting .583 off lefties this year. 7 for 12.
And on 2-0, he gets the call inside edge. And by the way, there were families that waited hours and hours and hours to run the bases after the 16-inning game against Minnesota.
I know how they feel. That was like my whole career.
2-1. Revere, a chopper foul. Nats a chance to put an exclamation point on this 7th inning. Still a long way to go, but they got that St. Louis run back immediately. Two with 1 out. Way inside to Ben. He was about to extend to grab something away. Jason Worth is closer to Ben Revere than the St. Louis pitcher is right now. Payoff pitch, and he walked it, bases loaded. And Jason Worth the chance to bust it open. Worth this year as a pinch hitter, just 0 for 1.
It was in the same situation. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bases loaded, nobody out, I think, in Miami. Might be on the attack early here. Let's see.
He got a first pitch changeup and a good take. Worth to center. Way back. See you later. A pinch hit grand slam. The Nationals have now hit 7 pinch hit home runs this year.
That is a good day off for Jason Worth. They want him back out on the top step.
8-2 Washington. Still only 1 out in the inning. And here's Bryce Harper. And he was trying to attack on the first pitch, got a curveball.
I mean, Jason Worth is hitting .353 against left-handers this year, and Mike Matheny didn't have a right-hander up. Maybe his bullpen is taxed, at least the right side of it, and he decided to go left on right. Didn't work. 1 swing, homer, 4 RBIs. Thanks for coming.
Well, the Nats have scored way more than 5 runs. So add some more run support to the docket of Steven Strasburg, although most of it came after he had departed. In a tight ball game, he pitched very well. The Nationals lead by 6 runs.
Excuse me, Carb. I don't know that I've seen Jason Worth hit a ball that far in a long time. That ball was crushed.
It hit the bottom of the back wall. And they wisely don't park ambulances out there anymore. 1-2 with 1 out to Harper. Bryce 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Good eye, 2-2.
So you didn't get to see the kids run the base, but you got to see the 37-year-old Jason Worth clear the bases with a grand slam. How about that?
Harper called out. 2 outs in the inning and back to the Worth straightaway blast.
Look where the pitch is, right down the middle, belt high, and Jason Worth pured it. And like you said, that back wall is about, what, 20 feet behind the 402 sign, maybe further, hit the bottom half of it. Jose Lobaton, official helmet taker offer guy. Jason Worth coming back to the dugout, a hero.
There's Daniel Murphy.
It's just so good to see him do something like that. He likes hitting big home runs against the Cardinals, I feel like. It's kind of his thing.
Two and 0.
They usually take a few more pitches, though.
Yeah, it didn't have to foul off a dozen that time. Two 0.
It's not an easy thing to do for any player, let alone a guy that's played every day his whole career, come off the bench and do something. Everyday guys will tell you when they finally do pinch hit, it's the hardest thing they've ever done. So Jason Worth just made it look real easy.
Well, you didn't think they were going to get Murphy out 4 times, did you? For Daniel Murphy, an 8-game hitting streak. And Zimmerman will be the 9th National to bat in the 7th inning.
So I was watching the pitch to Jason Worth. I watched how far it went. I watched a bunch of guys jog around the bases. What I didn't look for is the patented bat toss, the low bat toss, and how far that went. Usually on the big hits, it goes a little bit further.
0-1 in the dirt.
The bigger the hit, the farther the toss.
Jason Worth, 4th career pinch hit homer.
Well, that's a pretty good one. That's a little higher than normal. Heads up, Pass and Dan.
First career pinch hit slam and his 6th career grand slam home run. Zimmerman takes off speed inside. Nationals 2 more homers today, and they have hit 8 in this series. Zimmerman sharply to the right side. Jed Jerko throws him out. Well, a 4-hit, 3-run 4th, and a 5-hit, 5-run 7th. Way out of here. It made it 8-2 as Worth does the ultimate any hitter can.
Out of Jason Worth, the grand slam makes it 8-2. Join the fun on Facebook to win a meet and greet with the guy you're looking at right there. Other prizes during our first virtual watch party. Tune in to the game Tuesday, May 31st, and join the event discussion for tons of chances to win. Details and RSVP at facebook.com/Masson Nationals. And it just started to rain.
Yeah, rain coming down here as we go top 8. Brandon Moss, the hitter. Sean Kelly on for the Nats. Well, it took Perez, Trinan, and Rivero to get through that 7th inning. Great job by Felipe of getting the 2 outs, getting the guys in the dugout, and then boom, 5 runs. Fastball away, 1-1. Wow. Great slight piece there. Inside edge for a strike.
Sean Kelly pitched last night against the Cardinals. Just fastball hit 95 a few times, and that's the first time this year I've seen it that hard. It's been 92, 93.
Swing and a foul tip. 1 out in the 8th. For more on Sean, here's Dan.
Bob, we talked in recent weeks about Sean Kelly's high percentage of breaking balls thrown this season. He told me the other day, look for more fastballs for me now that the weather's heating up a bit. As a 2-time Tommy John surgery guy, he says that his arm feels better in the warmer temperatures, so he starts throwing his fastball more. And he said that the velocity increases, something which FP was just alluding to. That fastball velocity early in the season, 91, now up 94, 95.
There's Jed Jerko. Also out of the Nats bullpen, Matt Belisle is on the way back and still continuing his rehab, close to being ready. And I don't think there's any one guy out there who deserves to be demoted the way that bullpen's pitching. So a tough decision will be made at some point.
I mean, guys are swinging it better. Velocity's up. You know why? Baseball was meant to be played in warm weather. It's not meant to be played in the 30s and 40s.
Well, Dusty talked about that almost 2 weeks ago. And we're getting all the warm weather we want right now. The ball jumping like crazy. Two-one pitch with 1 out. Kelly challenging guys.
Well, when you talk about where they're going, Philadelphia is a good place to hit. Cincinnati definitely a good place to hit.
And Chicago.
And Chicago. Yeah. So you got 3 hitters' ballparks coming up on this road trip.
Yeah, we don't hear about it a whole lot, but U.S. Cellular Field, south side of Chicago, if it's warm, the ball flies there. This foul ball straight back out of play. Our Masson crew digging deep into the archives. The only previous Nationals pinch hit grand slam, local product Justin Maxwell back in '07. It did not go as far as the one we saw today. Up and away, 3-2. Nationals trying to improve their home record to 15-11. 3-2, and Jerko takes ball 4. So right now, the Nats, as I mentioned earlier, could post a win as the Mets have the Sunday night game at home with the Dodgers and Kershaw. Phillies trailing 7-1, 7th inning at Wrigley Field. Well, the Cubs are about to win their 5th in a row. The St. Louis Ball Club started the day 8.5 back of the Cubs. Pirates 5.5 back. Pittsburgh trailing at Texas, middle innings. And Sean missing up some here. Counts 1-1.
Sammy Solis getting hot.
Yeah, Nats had to use a bunch of guys last night. Trinan, Perez, Petit, Solis, and Kelly. Gio was out before the 5th inning was over. And a 1-2 pitch. Close. Ball 2.
That was, dare I say, a nasty cutter.
I echoed that sentiment on a fly ball to Bryce Harper.
I can't help it every time that sign's there.
2 outs, and the next batter, Jeremy Hazelbaker. A lot of foul tips against Sean Kelly.
But get that short arm delivery, Carp. That fastball 93-95 seems, just by watching guys swing, to play a little bit quicker. Have a lot of rotation there at the end. He's a short arm guy, so as a hitter, that'll sneak up on you. Billy Wagner used to throw 100 out of his ear.
That was short.
Quick arm. Gets on you.
Swing and a miss. Sean Kelly, a 2-strikeout inning. We're going bottom 8th. Anthony Rendon started that wonderful 7th with a home run. Here he comes.
Mercedes-Benz of Arlington to check out the new 2016 CLA 250 lease at $299 a month. 8-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Wilson Ramos, good day. Anthony Rendon, good day. Jason Worth, really good day. And we'll show you Anthony Rendon's homer. Ball flying in Nats Park this homestand. That one had some carry to it. Rendon getting a hero's welcome back to the dugout. His 4th of the year. And Jason Worth with a monster grand slam. I don't know what the magnitude of that Worth quake was, but his bat flip was one of the better ones we've seen. The curtain call, well deserved, and he lit up everybody in this ballpark with a grand slam.
Tyler Lyons, 28-year-old left-hander for St. Louis here. 15th appearance, 3.80 ERA, 25 strikeouts in 24 innings. First appearance of the series. Rendon lays off the off speed. Anthony 1 for 4 career against him with a double.
That Lions fastball slider change. Fastball averages 90 miles an hour. Anthony Rendon looking to turn a 1 for 3 into a 2 for 4.
Three-2 to Anthony. Tough caroms down there.
Ball was cruising.
Rendon right up the middle. Kick save not made. And Anthony Rendon is 2 for 4 today. And in the series, 6 for 10 with a night off yesterday.
And 24 for his last 63 now. So he turns an 0 for 2 into a 1 for 3 with a homer into a 2 for 4. So a nice comeback day for Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, so 381 over those ABs you talked about. Jonathan Papelbon hasn't pitched since Thursday night when he saved the ball game on just 8 pitches in the Nats' 2-1 series opening win. Here's Ramos. What a day. Wilson Ramos against Tyler Lyons, 1 for 3. And he launches one to left. See you later. It's 10-2. I don't know about the hitters, but I'm pretty sure I don't want to leave town either.
Well, like we said, the only thing you got going for is you're going to Philly, Cincy, and Chicago. So the Nats locking it in at the right time. And Wilson Ramos, we were just having fun with 2 trips to San Diego this year. One in with the ball club and maybe one by himself. The best hitting catcher in baseball in the first half of the season, Wilson Ramos, ladies and gentlemen.
Now batting .336. Danny Espinosa from the right side. He had a base hit last time up. So Rendon, Ramos, and Espinosa in the last 2 innings are 5 for 5. They've all scored Rendon's driven a run in. Ramos now 2. And Wilson Ramos' 4 RBI day gives him 25 for the season.
And that's about to go 5-2 on the season against the Cardinals.
Exit speed 99. That was a right-handed version of how Adam Dunn used to hit homers here. So high and so far out.
I'll tell you what, of all the Nats hitters, he enjoys his homers the most.
Why not?
He can admire his work with the best of them.
Ramos 67 career home runs now. Still nobody out here in the 8th inning. Last night the Nats gave up 9 for the first time this year. They were the last team in baseball to give up 9 runs in a game. So today they went out and put 10 on the board, and maybe not done yet. Espinosa takes the walk. And another at bat for Chris Heisey. Wilson Ramos 8 times in his career now 4 RBIs or more. 5's his career high. I remember a little stretch he had around the 4th of July a couple of years ago when the weather was hot and he was unstoppable. Wow, that 3 years ago already. 2013, early July. Chris Heisey 2 for 3 career against Lions, who gets a visit from probably an irked pitching coach at this point. Watch him give up a single, a long homer, and then a walk. They're just trying to get out of town. The Cardinals are, and head on to Milwaukee without the bullpen getting beaten up too much. That ball lined to left center. Heisey with a base hit. Espinosa will stop at second. 4 straight base runners here. The last thing Mike Matheny wants is to have to get another pitcher up. Ben Revere steps in. Ten runs on 12 hits. Revere 0 for 3, but a walk last time up that loaded them up, bringing in Worth, the pinch hitter, and you know what happened. Up the middle, right off the mound. Scooped, and a really good play by Jed Jerko on a 4-3 double play. St. Louis has the most double plays in the league, 55. That indicates how many base runners their pitching staff has had to deal with this year. Well, Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight should have plenty to talk about. They're going to have to cram it into 30 minutes on Nats Extra Post Game, presented by W.B. Mason. Here's Clint Robinson getting a pinch hit at bat against a left-handed reliever, and the bat goes straight back to the screen.
It's more pine tar on there. Pretty steady rain right now. Lyons trying to keep his hands dry.
Breaking ball rolls in for a strike. 0-2 to Clint, who's 0 for 1 career against the St. Louis lefty. Big curveball. Then the bat shatters, and the ball goes to Jed Jerko. So the Nats another big inning. Wilson Ramos a 2-run homer. It is 10-2. Papelbon on the way. For Wilson Ramos, a walk, a 2-run single, a base hit and a run, and then a 2-run homer in the 8th to cap it off. Nats catcher hitting just under 340. Here's 35-year-old Jonathan Papelbon to close out what the Nats hope will be a split against St. Louis.
Speaking of splits, that's his out pitch. 85 miles an hour, fastball 91, slider 79. And he's used to pitching in the rain, didn't he? Save that game against the Marlins in the doubleheader in a pretty steady downpour.
You're right. Yeah, it was a wet track that day for sure. Top of the order, Matt Carpenter, 0 for 2 career against him. And 0 for 4 on the day, 1 for 9 in the series. (19 appearances for Jonathan, 2.89 ERA. Out to left, Chris Heisey waiting. 1 out. Greg Garcia, Matt Holliday the next 2. Nats will knock the Cardinals back to just 1 game over 500. Washington about to win its 30th game of the year. And there's Greg Garcia. Tanner Roark for Dusty Baker tomorrow night. Jeremy Hellickson in Philadelphia. Nats Extra 6:30 tomorrow night. Nats won the series up there 2-1. Phillies came here and swept the Nats, so Washington owes those guys a couple.
I think Phillies lost 6 of their last 7.
Yeah, they're just they'll be 2 games over 500 when the Nats get there. Unless they stage a big-time Wrigley comeback. They're down by 6 in the 7th inning. Yeah, we're told 7 out of 9 if they lose today. This one to right. Bryce Harper after it, approaching the scoreboard, feeling for it, and he finally touches it after catching that drive. 2 down.
Coors Field, man, I'm telling you.
Not an easy play in the rain either.
Nice play by Bryce Harper, but that didn't have any kind of sound off the bat of Greg Garcia. But look how far it carries. Bryce Harper putting his arm out to feel the wall approaching. Nice play. Bandbox.
Here's Matt Holliday against Papelbon. And again, against St. Louis, first game of the series tight. Nats win 2-1. The other's pretty decisive. 6-2 Cardinals, 9-4 Cardinals, and today all Nats 10-2. And trying to maybe exorcise some demons by beating St. Louis 5 out of 7 in the season series. Holliday 3 for 4 today with all singles. Uncertain swing by the big man. 38,898 a sellout today.
Buffalo fan, she's got her hat on. I love it.
Swing and a miss. Game over. Series over. And the Nats beat St. Louis 5 out of 7 this year, earning a split. Steven Strasburg is 9-0.
12-0 in his last 15 starts, and that's the Nats' 15th straight win in a Steven Strasburg start. That's a franchise record.
It dates back to September 15th of last year. Well, it'll be a happy ride up to Philadelphia. The Nats win it decisively, 10-2.